Shadow? Shouldn't we get moving? Yeah, just give me a second. Oh, I'm sorry. Were you staring at my ass? No, I was, just checking out some things. Oh, sorry. Anyway. Hey guys, and welcome back to my Let's Play of Sonic the Hedgehog 2006. So, last time we did all of Silver's optional town missions, so of course it is now time for the final set of town missions, Shadow's. Now, the thing about Shadow is that although he actually does have the least number of town missions, he only has 15, he has the fewest mandatory ones. There's only 2 in his entire story. As such, we have 13 town missions to do, and well, what we're seeing right here is a very, very large number of them. I'm guessing because Shadow is supposed to be the combat character, they decided that his town missions have to focus a lot on combat. So this is what we're actually going to be doing for the most part. We are just fighting enemies, and a lot of them will be of the Solaris variety, not always. And this is actually a mission that makes no sense. This happens... This mission is available after completing White Acropolis. So we've just arrived at the hub world, and you have quite a lot of missions available. When you first get to the hub world with Shadow, before you head into Kingdom Valley, 6 town missions are available. 6. And 2 of them, this being one of them, you actually fight Solaris monsters, even though Mephiles hasn't technically been released from the Scepter of Darkness yet, so I don't know, maybe it's the future Mephiles. Has he sent Silver back in time yet? I don't know. They don't want you to think. That's the issue with this game's story. They don't want you to think. And that's why I hate time travel so much. But anyway, that's a discussion for another day. The point of this mission now is, well, you need to play at the ghost gimmick. So we saw that there's a lot of these invisible enemies. And the idea is, if you destroy one of them, it doesn't matter which one, if there is a group of them, destroying one will wipe out all of the enemies that are currently in the area. And you need to destroy them in order to get the bonus points for destroying multiple enemies at once. Now the thing about this mission is, this is another one that requires 40,000 points to get the S rank, and it's a really strict time bonus on this one. So not only do you need to get the bonus points, you also need to complete the mission as fast as possible. Unfortunately, I'm an idiot and failed to realise that that trail of rings leads to a spring that's hidden behind this tree, which launches you up to these other enemies. So I don't even come close to the S rank, and it's because of that waste of time. So, okay, you know, it's not the clearest in the world. The trail of rings is there to clue you in, but you can still quite easily miss that spring. I do think there are better ways of handling that, and that's what we need to do. We need to get the bonus points for destroying all of those. They're not around for every set of enemy, but whenever they are there, just pay attention to the red dots on your radar. The red dots will clue you in on where the robots are, so they'll often be a bit more isolated than the rest of them, and that's how you know where the invisible robots are. You know, they're not entirely invisible, you can still see them. And it doesn't matter which one you destroy, just as long as you destroy one. There's like 4 here. And it didn't matter which one of those I destroyed, as long as I got one of them. But unfortunately, I got completely confused in one area, so I didn't get enough points to get the S rank. So that's just under an A rank. Overall, it's not too bad of a mission. There are quite a number of missions for Shadow where, like with Silver, some of them are easy S ranks, others are much more difficult, and some of the most difficult S ranks to get for the town missions. And again, you don't really need to do any of these town missions to get the upgrades, provided you get enough S ranks or A ranks in the main stages and boss fights. Because Shadow does have optional power-ups. I don't think it's mandatory to get any of his Chaos powers. Oh no, actually I think it might be mandatory for one of them. I think you need to get the level 1 Chaos boost in order to get into Kingdom Valley, but after that they are optional. But despite how many rings that you're required to get for Shadow's last Chaos Power. It's completely optional, and you can still get plenty of rings in the main stages in order to buy it. So you don't really need to worry about the town missions unless you've been getting generally D, C, or B ranks. And of course, it's town missions. They wouldn't be complete without going through orange rings, and now we're actually doing it using Shadow's vehicles. You're going to be using the vehicles quite a lot for these missions. Mostly the buggy. You do need to use the motorcycle for one mission, and you never use the hovercraft or the hang glider at all. It's mostly going to be the buggy. And the difficult part about that mission is that there's one particular ring which is slightly too far to the right for where the camera is, and you have the crates also blocking it, so you can very easily miss the ring, just end up driving right past it, and the overall turning speed of the buggy is a bit stiff. You do wish that it could turn a little bit faster, and unfortunately this is one of the many times where I do get entirely lost in this subworld as to just where the town missions are. I really wish that radar was a bit bigger, because even though you can see where the town missions are on the radar, they do appear as blue circles. They're very easy to miss, and the radar just doesn't showcase very much of the hub world. Like, you can see it there when I found this guy, but I do wish there was a bit bigger, because I'm going to be wandering around this hub world quite a bit, wondering just where the hell I'm supposed to be going to go through all of these town missions. And this one right here, this, I don't know what a rim light is, but there's a few missions that appeared in one of the previous missions as well. And well, we've seen all this before. Now it just destroy all the enemies. I believe this is the last one you unlock. I think you can only get this one after Wave Ocean. I might be wrong, but I believe it's after Wave Ocean that this one unlocks. And well, go figure, it's just destroying all of the enemies. And I hate... Sonic 06 really is one of the worst games when it comes to having to destroy all the enemies to proceed. I mean, granted, this is an optional town mission. This isn't like proceeding through the main stages. But Sonic 06 is one of the worst at that. It's not the worst. Because Shadow the Hedgehog wasn't too bad with it, although it did get really annoying when you had to destroy members of your own allegiance, costing you points in order to progress through the stage. Heroes does it a lot. And... Sonic Rush does it a lot as well. Nothing will ever be unleashed. At least I have not. Oh wait, what am I talking about? Sonic Boom. Sonic Boom is probably the worst with it. Yeah, at the very least, Unleashed was for a different gameplay style. This... Well, there's no excuse for these enemies who have health bars, and that's what a lot of them have. And that's the main reason some of these take so long, because they have health bars. And yeah, you did have to collect those disk data thingy-majigs, because again, Soliana, they leave them out in the open, just like they did with Sonic. We had to do that mission with Sonic as well. And they just decided to leave them right out in the open like that. But that's wonderful security. I mean, it just goes to show, since Soliana has such a wonderful police force, which clearly have the abilities of telepathy and are capable of hovering through the air much like Silver, as one of his missions showcased. But yeah, wonderful security. And unfortunately, this mission right here, this will be the beginning of what is also a major issue with Shadow's Town missions. A lot of them are of the multiple task variety. As such, there is a lot of loading screens. I was able to edit out all of these pretty much. You know, apart from where I'm just showcasing, pretty much the title of the mission, even though we're technically seeing it so many times. It just showcases how many loading screens there actually are in some of these town missions. This is one of them. So, Sabrina is Lord Regis's daughter, and she is an absolute stuck-up bitch. So, unfortunately, we're a gun agent, so we have to fulfill these tasks while the guy tries to find somebody else to look after Sabrina. I don't know why he can't just do it, but, so... We're a gun agent, so we have to follow our orders, and that means we have to follow her orders. And I have no idea what this key is for, but we had to get her a key. And now we have to go and get the bitch presents. Presents! You don't deserve these, Sabrina. I thought I edited out this loading screen. Okay. One missed loading screen there. Sorry about that. But, yeah... That is between every single task. There is one of those loading screens for every single task. And this is where we really run into an issue on the fact that the presents are not located on the radar. Again, like the kids first, like the boys that we had to touch. I don't know any other way to say that. For one of Silver's Town missions. They are pretty much going around a circuit of the hub world. There is one which is off the track. It's like located right in the middle, and you wouldn't at all think to go there. But for the most part, it's just going in a circle. Whenever one of the presents appears, the game does tend to freeze, as well as being followed by the same sound effect that you can hear occasionally when a silver medal appears. You don't always hear it, but it is there. But the game freezing will be your biggest clue. And this is the one that requires you to go out of your way a little bit. Go through this archway, over the bridge, go to the right, and now you'll come across the gift. Also, do be careful when you go around the bends like this. It's surprisingly easy to fall off the edge there, as I actually did. This is take 2. And of course, because I failed the mission, it meant that I had to start all the way from the beginning again. I had to collect the key again. I had to go through a 20-second loading screen for her to tell me I failed. 20 seconds to take me back to the main version of the hub world. I had to talk to the gun soldier again. I had to sit through a 20-second loading screen for Sabrina to tell me to get the key. 20 seconds later to go and get the key. 20 seconds later in order to then go after the presents again. In fact, you know what? Why can't I just let these robots shoot her? She deserves it. Go on, boys. No, I can't. Sabrina's health does go down considerably faster than most of the other citizens of Soliana do, if they're ever in some of the missions. It's rare, but it does happen. So you have got to be careful, but it's really, as long as you just keep using your homing attack and your breakdance kicks. Her running out of health is never an issue unless you try and do it on purpose. But anyway, she's now actually nice to us because we saved her. And she's even looking at Shadow so lovingly there. Maybe Shadow sees something Maria related in her. Maybe it's just because he's following orders. I don't know, but that was Sabrina. She's nice now, apparently. I hope she's nice now. Something tells me she isn't, but... I'm taking those presents back. You don't deserve those gifts. And I really do hate it when there's slowdown on the results screen, because the results screen takes forever. Even the fading away takes longer. I really hate it when there's slowdown on the results screen like that. And there's nothing I can do about it. It's like, there's slowdown everywhere, but at least it only lasts for a few seconds at the most, even if it then does immediately happen again, you know, like this. But when it starts on the results screen, it will do it from the very beginning to the very end. And there's no stopping it. So the results screen just takes forever. Look at all this. Why is there so much slowdown here? It's not like there's very much happening, so what is causing the slowdown? I swear the town stages are the worst when it comes to slowdown, and Castle Town is the worst of those. When there's slowdown in the main stages, usually because I'm destroying a lot of enemies at once, or I'm breaking a crate, so there's lots of things appearing on one object becomes many objects. And, you know, that slowdown shouldn't be there, but it's so bad in the hub worlds in particular. And I don't know why. And again, it generally seems to be that the slowdown is more prominent in the PS3 version. I don't know how all the hardware and everything works, but it always seems like whenever a game is released on the PlayStation 3 and the Xbox 360, the PlayStation 3 version tends to be the worst version. There's often there's more slowdown, more frame rate issues, and I don't get what causes it. If it's something like the Xbox to the PlayStation 2, that was a little bit different. It's like the Xbox was much more powerful than the PS2. I don't know what the hardware specifications are here, but for some reason, whenever a game is released on both systems, the PlayStation 3 version often fares worse. Sometimes it's only in the most minor of ways, but it's still there. And hey, buddy, this is my results screen. Get off the results screen. I went through the rings. Hey, get out. What happened to the guy on the right? He just imploded. So we couldn't believe I got an S rank by going through all those rings. He just imploded. But invasion of my privacy, seriously. I forgot what I was saying. So, well, we're now in the new city hub, and this is where most of Shadow's side missions are. I mean, you're going to be spending quite a lot of time here. This is where a very large number of these missions are. We're now halfway through the video, and well, in fact, we're not even halfway through the video yet, and we're going to be spending the rest of our time here. And this is one of the town missions where not only do you not have to deal with another loading screen for him to tell you what to do. You know, you speak to him, tells you what to do, and takes you straight there. There's no 20-second loading screen to load a text box with one line of text in it. It takes you straight to the mission, and all we're doing is using the buggy's missiles to shoot the cars. Simple as that. The actual number of hits seems to vary. Sometimes they take up to 5, sometimes they take as little as 2. I don't know what causes that. But it's very easy. As long as you're close enough, the missiles do have homing properties. And this is one of the missions that takes place in a new area of Soliano. We were technically here for one of Sonic's town missions, where we had to destroy the thieves' car. But, you know, with that mission, we never really get to see much of it. We're on that particular location for 3 of Shadow's missions. And it's like, I wonder if they were actually planning on doing something with it. Because it kind of reminds me of the driving levels from Sonic Adventure 2. Only less chaotic. And I do wonder if they actually had any plans for that. Because that's the only time we ever go to that particular section is when we're at when we're doing the town missions. And I forgot another loading screen. I'm bad at this. At the very least, you know, making up for making up for the fact that this one has one less loading screen. Look how long these things take. Again, they're like 10 seconds shorter on the Xbox 360. And I understand that the PlayStation 3 has like a rather slow disc reader. So maybe that has something to do with it, along with the fact that the PS3 is also using Blu-ray discs. I have no idea. But the Blu-ray discs, maybe they can hold more, but it takes longer to read everything. I have no idea how hardware and software works, so I'm probably completely wrong. This is one of the our maths missions. So Francis here is trying to test our intelligence. And I'm not even going to bother explaining this, because, well, I can't really. It's something about the way that all the crates are aligned, and you need to guess what the dotted crate is supposed to be. So just break the crates that I'm destroying in the video, and you can pass it no problem. There's only 3, thank God, so it isn't too many. I believe it's 5, 7, and 0. This is one of 2 missions where you have to do something like this, and it's annoying because they do remind me of Aristo's challenges in Sonic's story. None of them are quite as bad as that when it comes to gameplay to loading screen ratio, but you know, they are pretty bad with it. Thankfully, that one's only got 3 questions. We are going to be doing another one very shortly, but at the very least, that one doesn't take you quite as long. It does actually require you to think, unlike Aristo's challenge. And if we go over to the warehouse, we can talk to this guy, and it is now time for yet another multi-segmented one. This one's got quite a lot, actually, so there's a lot of loading screens in this one as well. We are now going to try and get our motorcycle license test. Sorry, we're now trying to get our license to ride a motorbike. So apparently what Shadow was doing in the stages and in Shadow the Hedgehog was completely illegal. Although I wouldn't be surprised if there wasn't a law for allowing hedgehogs to drive. But apparently there are no laws for having hedgehogs as your army agents. So who knows, maybe I'm missing something. And it's mostly simple. All you have to do here is you just get driving the motorcycle to the end. At first I thought it was destroying crates, I don't know why. Get it to the end, you get a ridiculously generous time limit. You don't have any bullets though, so don't run into too many of those explosive crates because the thing will lose health, and you gotta try and avoid hitting the curbs because the slightest little difference in terrain can damage the bike. Like what happens in Radical Train, you're continually losing damage because every single time the tyres go over the rails, it takes damage for some reason. And this is the mission I was thinking of. This is the one where you have to destroy the crates. Thankfully they're not explosive crates, so all you're doing is shooting them. And there's something about the sound effect for when your ammo in the vehicles reloads. Like, there's something about the sound effect that I just hate. I don't know why, I just really don't like the sound effect. The biggest issue that comes with these challenges here, especially this one, are the motorcycle's controls. Because remember how I said that the turning for the buggy was really stiff? This thing is like the complete opposite. This thing's handling is so ultra precise, and it is really annoying when you're constantly moving forwards. So we need to drive between the cones, but you can push them out of the way, and it seems to be just fine. And I have no idea what happens with this cone here. I flattened it. So I don't know what these things are made of. So I don't know, are you supposed to drive through them more, or can you just go over to the end and just drive through that last set? Because you can knock them about, where you're not really driving through them anymore, but you still pass. I don't know if there's maybe a set number. I have no idea. And this is something that was in Silver's mission that I just completely didn't mention at all. I was too busy discussing levels I don't like. Collecting bronze medals, which actually have a purpose, which is completely backwards. At least you get rings for these. If you go after the silver medals, you get a gold medal, which itself is entirely pointless. And unlike many of our other objects, such as the presents from earlier, those bronze medals are actually marked on the map. I'm not sure if they were in Silver's mission, but at the very least you had trails of rings that told you where you needed to go. But those are actually marked on your map, so why can't the presents be on the map? But anyway, this one is pretty much the same as what we were doing in the first mission. Although I'm pretty sure if I drove into explosive crates or barriers, I would fail my motorcycle driving test. But that's it. We got our... That's the final challenge. Just get to the goal ring again. And we finally got our license for riding a motorbike. And you know what? I reckon we should celebrate. Let's take this motorcycle out for a nice little championship drive. Come on. Let's go out and test this thing out.
He was looking.
Oops. Well, it's a good thing I don't have insurance, damn it. Omega, what do we do? Should, Eggman did it, okay. He came at me with a knife. Eggman came at me with a knife, I had to get away. So, moving on. So now we have another maths challenge, and this is another one that has many segments. This is the closest thing we have to Aristo's challenge. And this guy will give us various different maths questions. For the first one, he'll give us a set of numbers, and we need to break the crates in the order of the numbers appear in the text box. And you can talk to the guy as many times as you want. You can talk to him. You can pause whilst that text box is there, as I'm doing right there, and so you can get a look at them. You can write them down or put them on your phone or whatever. Talk to them as many times as you want in case you forget. The thing about the second one is he'll give you a set of numbers and tell you to do the same thing as you did before, but the numbers that appear the second time round will be different to what appeared the first time. You saw two sets of numbers there. And that was close. So he gives you a set of numbers there, and then a second row will appear. Ignore that one. Only break the ones in the first row. You don't break that one crate. The crate that has the number 1 on it. Ignore that one. And now it's a matter of just breaking the crate that doesn't appear in the sequence. So that one's easy enough. That one, that isn't quite a lot like Aristo's challenge. And that one is also gonna... You might need to look at that one quite a few times. Again, just pause the game, write them down. Because you can pause while the text box is there. But the answer is 1. And now it's a matter of actual maths. So we need to subtract one number from the other number. And... Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay, so... Again, if you fail even the very last question, you have to go all the way back to the beginning. And I was looking at that. I was panning the camera towards that box that had the number 4 on it to tease myself. Because for some reason I went and thought, right, 6 minus 1 is 4. And that was what you call a dumbass moment. I went and broke the crate and I was like, wait a minute. 6 minus 1 is 5. Damn it, now I've got to do the entire mission all over again. At the very least, I was taking way too long with the previous mission, so at the very least, I was definitely not going to get the S rank the first time around, so it did benefit me a bit. Oh, wait a minute. My history with this particular town mission. The car festival. Right, so this is a race. A load of cars. We're once again on that trackway that doesn't appear in any of the actual stages. And we're simply racing. You see there's a load of multicolored cars. We need to get past all of them. The actual challenge comes from that black car in the front. One that is deceptively fast. And he's pretty much your main competition. The difficult part is actually getting past all of those cars at the beginning. And then you just need to get past this one. And just keep pressing the X button so that you can perform the boost. Once you are boosting, just hold down to accelerate. And try not to do the boost when going around a bend. Because no matter how fast you're going, even if you're not going that fast. I got off lucky then. But the buggy can hit a wall and do a complete 360 and spin out. Even if you don't actually approach the wall with that much speed. And it can even cause you to fall over, which will then completely tip upside down, causing the buggy to explode and you fail the mission. I managed to do it on my first try this time, which was incredible, because when I did it the first time round, on my first playthrough, it must have taken me about 20 tries. And each one of those tries has about 4 20-second loading screens. One to say yes to the mission, one to actually get to the area, then another for the guys to then tell me I failed, and another to take me back to the hub world. And then you had to do that again, and it was like 20 tries. Along with all of the other town missions. And one thing that the game doesn't do is after you complete a stage or a boss, you're given the option to save. You don't get that option with town missions, you just have to pause the game and manually save. Which, admittedly, is a bit of a dumb moment for me, but I never got the idea to do that at the time. And after spending so long doing the mission, I finally did it, along with all the other missions that were available at the time. And then I went into Radical Train, and there was one particular section at the beginning of the stage where you have to turn Shadow whilst doing a homing attack. And I died so many times, and this is 3D Sonic has, unlike classic Sonic, modern Sonic, or the very 3D Sonic, 0 counts for your lives. And that was a good thing, because my life count went all the way down to 0. And if I died one more time, that would have been game over, back to the title screen, and I would have had to have done all of those town missions, including the Car Festival one, all over again. And it was so close. And I just made it. With 0 lives. And thankfully, I got 1 life back. I died again. But then I didn't die after that. Thank God. So when I got to the end of Radical Train, and I was like, okay, good. I can do it. I've done it now. I can save the game. And that was terrible. Thankfully, I managed to do that mission the first time this time around. And now we're back there again. We're back on this stretch road again. Only this time we're now going past this block. We're going into this blocked off area. This particular part was blocked off. We had to take the right turn there during the race. Not this time round. And this is the town mission that requires you to get 50,000 points. And the idea again is you need to defeat the enemy in the middle in order to get the points for all of the other enemies. There will be occasions where only one enemy appears, and you also need to try and collect as many rings as you can, and don't get hit, because your time, even with your enemy score and your time bonus, which is again pretty much fixed, your score is, oh my god, speed shoes! They exist in this game's programming. So does the shield, but that one never appears at all. But you need to make sure you don't get hit. And that enemy right there, the Iblis Golem and the Titan, because of the large hitboxes of those fireballs they throw, you could defeat them while they're holding on to it. They'll drop it when you kill them, and even though you don't touch it, you still get hurt. And that car almost failed the mission there. That car got so close to the laser barrier and the stalkers that I just barely made it. There are times where I failed that mission, even though I could have sworn that the car was so much further behind me. But apparently it still got destroyed by the projectiles, mainly when they throw that giant fireball. And I failed it like 2 times in a row in that same area because I'm just like, how did I fail? Did the car just get destroyed or something? I have no idea what just happened. But yeah, you pretty much need to take a no damage run, and that's the only time in single player that we ever encounter the speed shoes. It's the only time. This is the other mission I was talking about. This one could potentially be the first mission you do in Shadow's story. Mephiles hasn't been freed yet, but we can still do this mission. I could have sworn I edited out these loading screens. Oh, we could have done this mission first, but somehow there's Solaris monsters here, so I'm assuming this is the Mephiles that time traveled. I can't think of anything else. Look, the enemies are already there. Why do I need to go through a loading screen? That's so stupid. Now we have invincibility. The speed shoes music is the same as the invincibility music. Unlike other games where, there's always been an invincibility theme, but usually the speed shoes are either... Originally it was just a sped up version of the main theme, and other times it's just been its own original theme as of Sonic Adventure. Here it's the same as invincibility. And I believe it's the only game in the series to do that. And of course, as tradition would have it, the invincibility is the main theme, so it's playing his world. Do love the invincibility theme though. Still get confused how sometimes it plays a little ending note and sometimes it doesn't. It's like down, 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 down. But sometimes that last part just doesn't play for some reason. But anyway, that is Shadow's final side mission, which could potentially be the first one you do, so completely backwards, I know, but I don't care, that is the final town mission in the game. We've finally done it. We don't need to go back to that hub world anymore. We don't have to go back to any of the hub worlds ever again. That is it. That is all of the town missions. So with that said, there is just one more technically there's two more non-DLC things left. There is the final story. But it is now time to return to the stages, and this time things are going to be a little bit different. Because the next time we meet up with Sonic the Hedgehog 2006, we will be doing Sonic's hard mode versions of his stages. So I will see you guys then.